Hi guys, welcome back to another weekly trade ideas, and in this video we're going to talk about one of the most popular market right now called Bitcoin. Okay, and I'm pretty sure most of you who are watching probably is still thinking whether you should be trading Bitcoin. Is it a good time to buy now? What price should you be investing into Bitcoin? Is there still any upside? Right, and in this video we're going to answer all of those questions, and I'm going to share with you my personal view as to whether you should be trading Bitcoin. Would I be looking to trade it? And if it is, which price should you be focusing on to get involved in Bitcoin? And as a bonus, I'm going to look at some of the other crypto market as well, perhaps on Ethereum, perhaps on XRP as well. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the charts, and I'll walk you through my process, how I analyze it, and what is some of the insights to take note of. Right, so over here what you see is, on top of just the technical charts, of course, Bitcoin right now might not have a fundamental to it, or I would say even the crypto market might not have any fundamental analysis. It's very difficult to base on fundamental to do a valuation on all this asset right now, okay? But because Bitcoin specifically has been listed in the futures market, we are able to track the commitments of traders report, in short COT. Okay, and this report here is very effective, and I would say helpful to give you a different perspective as to what are some of the large speculators doing. Are they buying or are they selling? Are they holding more onto the long position or short? Is there any interest in this particular asset, right? And all this can be analyzed, and we are able to see it through the COT report. Okay, and of course, anything that is able to be traded in the futures market, you do have access to all this information. Naturally, I don't look at all of them. That's crazy, right? There's just so many futures asset out there. But for me, I monitor the FX market, of course, some of the commodities that I'm more interested in, and definitely the Bitcoin as well, because I'm personally also interested to get involved in. Okay, it's more of the question of when and what price. Okay, so over here, to quickly walk you through, perhaps for those of you who are very new to what COT report is, okay, there are just a few key metrics that are important over here. Okay, the first one you want to understand is what is open interest. Okay, in short, if you want to have a very kind of layman way of understanding open interest, is just like demand. Okay, how many traders are actually interested and holding on to this particular asset, right? So you can just, in a very simple way, understand by that. So if open interest increases, which means that there's an increase in demand of this asset, okay, and if open interest drop, basically means traders are perhaps not so interested in this particular asset. Okay, so the first analysis over here, you can see we are definitely seeing the open interest increase. Okay, all the way from late last year, around October. Okay, you can see we are hovering below 10,000 in open interest. As of the most recent data we can get is it has increased to 12,000. Okay, so that's something that is very obvious. Okay, the interest from the large speculators are definitely piling in already. Okay, the next very important thing that you want to take note of in the COT report, right, is the non-commercial segment. Non-commercial here simply refers to the large speculators, and this group of traders, they're in the market to make money, right? That's their core intention, and therefore, as retail traders, we will also like to follow their footprints. Okay, so over here you can see there's the long, short, and of course the net position. Long basically means their buy position, short is the sell position, net is just the aggregate between buy and sell. Okay, so you can see over here, long position has also increased from October around 4,400 to somewhere around 7,300, right? 7,003. The short has also increased from about 6.5k to right now at 10,000. Okay, and what you observe is that of course the net position here is negative. It quickly tells us that there are more people holding on, or I would say there are more short positions in the market in terms of Bitcoin futures as compared to the long. Okay, and the difference here is about 3,333. Okay, so the net position is a very quick way for us to get an understanding, a quick glance as to whether majority of the people in the Bitcoin futures under large speculators, are they buying or are they selling? So if it's a negative number, means that it's slanting towards more people are selling. Okay, so this directly, in a very quick way, tells me that if the large speculators are still slanting towards shorting, I might want to be a little bit cautious in buying, right? And that's how I utilize the COT report to help give me some background information when I trade, or whether is it now that I want to get involved in Bitcoin. Okay. The other one that you want to pay attention that I have actually calculated over here is we call it the percentage change in net position in the past 52 weeks, which is past 1 year. Okay, and I just want to compare like week to week, right? The net position changes, is it significant? Now, if it's significant, means there's a huge transit between buy and sell. And that's, to me, something that I would like to take note of. Okay, so you can see over here, as of the most recent week, we have an 11.66% change. Okay, so what this tells me is that from around negative 2009, 2.9K to around negative 3.3, that's an 11% change in the net position, and that is rather significant. Okay, so that's how I interpret this data. But of course, you do realize that it's still a very small market. Take a look at the open interest, right? In Bitcoin, like right now, it's about 12,000. Okay, so it's very small. Now, if you compare to perhaps like Euro, okay, which is one of the commonly traded currency, okay, you can see that the open interest is in like close to 670,000. Okay, so if you just do a quick comparison, you figured that Bitcoin, or I would say crypto in general, is still a very new market. It's still a market that is perhaps low in liquidity. Okay, so this is I hope, while I believe that right now a lot of people are talking about Bitcoin, a lot of people are looking at the charts at the technical perspective. Very few are talking about the COT perspective of the analysis. Okay, so I hope right at the start of this video here to give you this angle of insights. Okay, but of course, I will still look at the charts, because at the end of the day, that's where the price move, right? And as traders, you want to interpret and make your decision, okay, based on price. Okay, as the saying goes, the market, or I would say the price, okay, is always right. Okay, so quick one over here. I'm looking at the futures market chart. Okay, so of course, if you are looking at Bitcoin, there are many different exchanges. The chart might look a little bit different because of the difference in pricing. But for standardization, I'm using the futures market because it's a centralized market. Okay, so on the daily perspective, you can see from March over here last year to where we are, of course, that's a significant rally. Okay, from somewhere around 4,000, the high actually broke 40,000. Okay, that's huge. Okay, and of course, what I did with my chart here, I've actually turned in the lot scale. Okay, this is a little bit for you guys to also take note of. When you have an exponential move, right, like Bitcoin, like Tesla, okay, you want to turn on the lot scale so that the proportion of your chart do look a little bit much better, and when you do your analysis, it's much easier, and it looks pleasant. Okay, so that's something for you to take note quickly. Okay, now so what I do expect right now, of course, from a technical point of view, Bitcoin, this is a impulse move to the upside. Okay, it's a little bit like parabolic, and most of the time when we see such huge move in a very short period of time, you will expect the correction to come down pretty deep as well. Okay, or usually, what I would say is that if you see an impulse push to the upside or any direction, as long as it's an impulse move, we don't trade it. Okay, because the probability is not in our favor, right? It can easily just do a V-shaped reversal, or what it can do next is starts to do a consolidation, and you wouldn't want to be trapped in that position. Okay, so this is a very quick one from a daily scale perspective. Okay, and what I also do in a centralized market like this, okay, is I would like to utilize the volume profile indicator as well to kind of quickly tell me where are the major volume activity coming in. Okay, and of course, this is more accurate in the application of a centralized market. So if you apply this to, let's say, the spot FX where it's decentralized, perhaps it's not as accurate. You are still able to use it to analyze. But if it's a centralized market like your stock exchange, the futures market, right, it'll be a little bit more accurate. So a very quick introduction again. I think in this video you might hear of all these things perhaps the first time. So I'd just like to quickly walk you through what they are and in a very easy way to understand what it means. Okay, so volume profile is an indicator that tracks activity at that certain price. Okay, so you can see over here, this is very obvious, it's very big, okay, in volume. What it means is that in this area of price, okay, there is a significant activity coming in, right? Activity simply means buying or selling, and both, okay? It can be buying and selling. So it does not tell us directly whether people are buying or selling. It just tells us that there's a lot of activity going on at that area, okay? The next you can see, of course, is this zone here. And what it means is that, again, this territory, the price area, the price range, there's a lot of traders are getting involved in it. Okay, and what you realize is that as price continue to push higher, there's nothing here. Okay, so what does this, how do we interpret, okay, what does this mean to us? Is that most of the buying activity perhaps comes around this zone, okay, and this move up is actually a side effect of after the buying. Okay, so we know that demand and supply push prices. Okay, so price actually continue to rally as a side effect of buying activity here. Okay, and you realize that as price continue to go up, perhaps after around like 22,000, there's not really much activity. In other words, you know, as price keeps going higher, the traders activity is less. Okay, so perhaps what this means is that this move up is not gonna be supported for long. Okay, or in other words, okay, if today price were to come back down, okay, or even drop, okay, there's a very high possibility that because this is empty, there's no volume, okay, we call it a vacuum, then what it means that there's a high chance if price were to retrace, there's a high chance it can come back all the way down towards the next area where there is high trading activity. Okay, and if I were to put that into the price, okay, that's around 20,000, which is somewhere around 19.6, right, towards 17.3. Okay, so that's around that region. Okay, so this is on daily, right? A higher time frame perspective to give you that different insights into Bitcoin. Now, if I drop to the 4-hour time frame, which I would have much more data to understand and analyze, okay, what I see over here is there's a recent high established and price is perhaps doing what we call a corrective pattern. Okay, and over here I would utilize or I would say I would use the methodology of wave theory, Elliott wave principle. Okay, and most of the time what we see is that there will be a 3-wave correction. Okay, so at this very moment we do have the first one down, the second one up, perhaps we are building the third one here, and the expectation here of course is based on the principles of Elliott wave. Okay, let me bring in my Fibonacci tool. We'll expect an equal movement of that 3 move, right? And to utilize that, that would be over here. Okay, so to be a little bit more precise, that's the expectation coming back down towards the $28,500 price area towards $25,700. Okay, and if I were to put in a little bit of labeling, right, just to give you that cool looking analysis, okay, that's where you have your WXY, your 3-wave expectation. If I were to put in some trend lines, that's how it's going to look like. Okay, and the idea here, of course, does not mean that price is definitely going to drop. It's just a probability game, right? And if on the 4-hour time frame, let me also add in the volume profile. Okay, to see from this push up here, where is the majority volume coming in? You do realize that we do have this zone here, okay, which kind of like coincide with our fib, right? You can see over here, Okay, so that's a pretty nice confluence area. And after that, we do have this zone over here as well, and of course at the bottom. Okay, so let's just, in this video, let's just keep it to this two key territory. Okay, if I were to put in a Fibonacci retracement from the low here, okay, to the recent high, okay, we might see a confluence at the 618 at the first level as well, and then of course the second level here would be your 786. Okay, let me just put that in. Right, so you can see there are some confluences stacking in. Of course, if you're looking at price action, that becomes your demand and supply, support, resistance territory as well. Okay, the first part here I would suggest is, you know, if I were to just keep things simpler for this, okay, I would in fact remove the second lower level and just keep an eye on the first one here. Okay, let me put this back in at the 618. Okay, so you realize that there are a few things coming in together, right? We have that three-wave expectation, WXY. We do have some fit. We do have the volume profile coming in, okay? And you do have the edit wave, three-wave expectation. So when all this are stacking up, okay, it does not mean that it's 100%. It's just building up a case. Okay, so if I'm interested to buy or even accumulate onto Bitcoin for the long term as an investment, then this territory here around 25,700 towards like 28,500, that will be my window of opportunity, the price area that I'll be very interested to keep a very close watch. If price were to come down here, I would be interested to perhaps look for buy opportunity. Is it whether a short-term swing back to the upside, or it can be a long-term investment into Bitcoin? All right, that's something for us to take note of. Okay, hopefully giving you some different insights onto it. Of course, if today you would like to set your stop loss, one way that I utilize is to also base on Fibonacci. Okay, and that would be where I'll use the 1618. Okay, which, if you still remember, just now we had this volume area as well, right? It's just below it. Okay, so you might also have this confluence where the second area of volume, okay, activity is probably going to provide you some last resort in terms of support if price were to drop below it. Okay, so in terms of pricing here, the stop loss is somewhere around 21,100 area. Okay, it's pretty wide, right? So imagine you're entering a position at 28,500 and your stop is at 21,100. That's about 7,000 of price difference. Okay, and of course you need to position size your trade properly. Okay, if you like to kind of like manage this here. Okay, the upside is of course right now unlimited. Okay, there is no previous high to reference to. So obviously if you are looking to invest, then it's just managing your stop, protecting your capital profits as it goes. If you're looking to trade it, okay, then your first key target would be at this high here around 42,500, which is your previous high, right? Okay, that's if you want to look for a swing trade, okay, or a medium term position, right? Not so much of a long term. Then if you do a very quick sizing of risk to reward, that's about 1:2, still okay, but not that attractive. So you might want to put all this factor in when you are considering whether you want to trade Bitcoin. Okay, it's definitely one of the very, very volatile asset right now that is not suitable for anyone. Okay, and why I want to shoot out this video to share with you, of course, there's two reasons. Number one, I'm playing with the trends right now that's happening. Okay, to boost my YouTube video, of course. Crypto right now, Bitcoin is just popular, so I thought, okay, let's do a video on that to ride the trend. Okay, so you know those tricks that people are using right now. The second reason, of course, is more towards really on trading, investing. I feel that there are just too many people jumping onto the financial market. Perhaps right now it's Bitcoin and Tesla, and many of them are not really aware of the risk component. They do not know, they have no idea what they're doing. They're basically just following the hype. And I hope this video here, while I'm not actively in crypto, to give you really that perspective from my angle, okay? How to actually approach it in a proper way, in a way where you have a system, you have a process that you follow through. Okay? So I hope this helps. Okay, and yeah, so that's the idea. Okay, another one here, of course, that is building up a little bit of interest is Ethereum, right? This is natural as well because crypto market in general, Bitcoin is of course the largest. The second is probably Ethereum. Okay, and you can see that Ethereum is also going up in the general direction. Okay, now for those of you perhaps who are interested in Ethereum, okay, while now in this, okay, I'm using the exchange of Kraken. Okay, so again, depending on which feed, which exchange that you are looking at, the price might be slightly different. Okay, so you want to take note of that. In terms of here, okay, while we are seeing right now price is breaking this previous high, okay, I think this is the all-time high right now. Just be a little bit cautious. Okay, why? Because on price pattern. Okay, so this one here I'm utilizing wave. I'm using technical patterns. This move up here, eventually there's a high chance this can come back down first towards this low, and then maybe from there it goes out. Okay, and this is where your Elliott wave 3-wave pattern comes in as a flat. Okay, so to give you that perspective, this is the low. Okay, take note of around $911 on Ethereum if you're interested in that. Okay, if I were to pull in the volume profile, it actually goes slightly below. Okay, this is a zone over here. Okay, there's a little bit of volume here, but it doesn't really stand out, right? So this one here stands out. Okay, that's about $750 to around $725 range. Okay, so do take note of that. Okay, I wouldn't suggest you to jump into Ethereum as of now with this break. Okay, because of how price is moving higher in how it's developing the pattern, there's a high possibility we can still see this come back down. Okay, and of course this is the two key zone for you to keep an eye on in terms of Ethereum. Okay, another one is XRP, which is Ripple. Okay, let me find. So I'll just use Bitstamp. Okay, recently it has been like in the negative, right, where most of the crypto is moving up. This is getting pretty hit badly, right, because of some of the potential bans and things like that. Again, very volatile market in the crypto, so you need to take note of that. Okay, so if you're looking at Ripple or XRP, okay, I think you want to be cautious in the you need to definitely take note of, the development on the fundamental side. I wouldn't even say really fundamental. It's just news, right? You want to take note of that. From a technical point of view, this does give us a much better opportunity, of course, compared to like Ethereum, which is already breaking the high. Okay. Same thing. I'll utilize some technical analysis over here. Okay. This has the possibility of developing it into something like this. Okay. Let me just make it look nicer, right? Something like this. Okay, so as long as price is above this low, okay, you have this technical pattern here of a move up, and then you expect 3-wave down, perhaps somewhere around 0.21 to 0.18. That will be a key zone for you to look for opportunity if you're interested to trade this. Okay, for me, definitely not. Okay, the only one that I'm perhaps looking or even considering is really Bitcoin, right? Okay, if you take a look at the volume profile here, you do have this volume. Okay, but again, these are not futures, right? So when I'm utilizing the volume profile, we are just measuring the volume activity based on the exchange, which might not be the most accurate way of analyzing. Okay, so I want you to be aware of that. Okay, so the idea here is, of course, this can develop into that 3-wave pattern here. Okay, if you're interested in this, then some zone here to consider, right? Somewhere around 0.21 to maybe around 0.23 area. Okay, yeah, right. So that's the tree analysis for the crypto market. Okay, if you ask me, I'm just really looking at Bitcoin. My idea here is to really give you a different perspective in terms of the whole analysis process, and of course I want to be as comprehensive as I can while keeping all this simple and easy to understand. Alright, so if you enjoyed that video, you benefited from it, do appreciate if you can give this video a thumbs up, right? Smash the like button, and of course if you have yet to subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure you do that. If you have any questions with regards to trading, investing, finance, any asset, right? It can be forex, commodities, stocks, or even crypto, Bitcoin, right? Feel free to drop them in the comments section below, right? I'll monitor all the comments and address your questions if there's any. So with that, I hope you enjoyed, benefited from this, gained some value out of it. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.